Hello again, everybody. It's like Attack is here with my WWE Raw review. All I gotta say is, holy mother. Heading towards the Rumble Aftermath tonight. Great Raw tonight, some great wrestling, and the return of a certain... I can't make my eyes roll behind my back. But we saw the Dead Man, the return tonight. Before I talk about him, everything else, let's talk about Raw starting from the very beginning tonight. Like I said, Raw, Rumble Aftermath, very good action tonight, and fitting more storylines heading towards the Elimination Chamber. We, of course, started out with John Laurinaitis, whose job was on the line tonight. He was waiting for his job evaluation by Triple H. That would be, of course, near the end of the evening. Laurinaitis tried to save his ass by making a super card for Raw tonight. He would make Kofi Kingston versus Miz, CM Punk taking on Daniel Bryan in a champion versus champion match. Eve Torres would take on Beth Phoenix for the WWE Divas Championship, and Dolph Ziggler versus Randy Orton. Now, as we all know, the Raw Elimination Chamber match participants have been revealed. That is Dolph Ziggler, Miz, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Chris Jericho, and CM Punk. We hear the SmackDown participants for their Elimination Chamber match against Daniel Bryan. The 5 challenges will be revealed on SmackDown on Friday. But we had Punk coming out after Laurinaitis came out, talking about the matches he was making tonight, basically to save his own ass. He was shaking people's hands, trying to pander to the crowd and make everyone kissing everyone's asses. And Punk came out singing a song he was hoping everyone would sing. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Goodbye. And he talked about Laurinaitis and his shit about being a asshole and everything else. And talking about trying to be exciting and he's not. And being a D-bag. And then here comes Daniel Bryan talking about Punk. Talking about being a vegan. Of course, being a cheap butt. Of course, he's been avoiding everybody. He's been escaping, especially what happened last night with him escaping the World Championship after a triple threat steel cage match. And Punk tries to apologize, but he didn't. And I like when he said John Laurinaitis sucks and blows at the same time. He does. He's a douchebag. His character, he is comic relief, but his character's just a stiff. So, but I kind of like his character. He's a D-bag that everyone loves to hate, basically. He plays that role very well. Like I've been saying since July, he is the last stooge left. So that's what I've been saying all along. That he is the last McMahon stooge. So like I said, Daniel Bryan came out. He shook Punk's hand, trying to show good sportsmanship. We also had Sheamus coming out. Of course, we all know Sheamus won the Royal Rumble. Now, Sheamus did not name who he was going to face for any title at WrestleMania yet. But he came out saying, I won the Rumble, fellas. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to be the WWE on the World Champion. I'm trying to sound like him. Almost. So I got to end that segment. Now on to our next match. Our first match tonight, which was, like I mentioned, Laurinaitis made this. Randy Orton taking on Dolph Ziggler. Wade Barrett was up in the skybox. He'll take on Randy Orton this Friday. Now this match is actually pretty good. Randy Orton's got a little stale. But I thought he did a pretty good match with Dolph Ziggler. Like Dolph Ziggler's one of 2 guys. He and Christian are the only 2 guys in my mind of all the WWE roster that can put on a good match with Randy Orton. That make Randy Orton put on a good match with. You know, Christian's feud with Orton was very good. Basically, Christian carried most of the time. That's what happened with Dolph and Orton. I think they wrestled before with Wade Barrett. I remember Wade Barrett interfered in that first match with Dolph Ziggler beating Randy Orton thanks to Wade Barrett's interference. I think it was like November. But Orton got the one-on-ship on Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler looked very good out there. He showed off against Orton. But the show-off got all KO'd for his troubles with a victory for Randy Orton. Decent way to kick off Raw. Like I said, great action. Not, like I said, it's probably almost as good as the Ziggler-Punk match last night. But like I said, Orton, Ziggler, decent matchup. Ziggler and Christian, the only 2 guys that I know that can work a great match, an okay match with Randy Orton. I mean Orton, as they like to call him. So there you go. Orton gets the victory. Sending a message to Wade Barrett. Now, on to our next match. Do I even have to mention it? Brutus Clay, Funk Man, coming out, taking on another squash man, LOX. Of course, we all know who won, Brutus Clay. Now, I'm starting to kind of like his gimmick. You know, I've been criticizing his gimmick because it's kind of too silly. But like I said, I think it's okay to make him a funk man instead of making him a big monster. Like I said, they already got big giant monsters like Kane and Big Show and Mark Henry. So making him a Funkasaurus is great. I'm starting to like his gimmick, kind of silly, but he's like the Santino with that. You know what I mean? P-H-A-T and F-A-T at the same time. But I only like Brutus Clay when he actually wrestles real people. Like big guys. Not guys who will be fired in like 6 months. People like JTG, people like Keith Slater, people like Kurt Hawkins, and like Tyler X. These are 4 guys that lost to Brutus Clay and will probably get future endeavored by the end of 2012. So there you go. Brutus Clay victory on Tyler X. On our next match, which was another match that the Lower Lions made, like I mentioned, champion versus champion, and CM Punk took on Daniel Bryan. Now this match was about as good as we wanted to, with a spoiled ending, which I'll get to in a moment. But very physical matchup. Like I said, these guys have been in the indies together in the past. You know, they're very much indie based, or both based out of Ring of Honor. So it was very physical matchup, very great physical chemistry between these two. Athletic chemistry between these two. Very, very back and forth action. Punk taking advantage. And Punk was ready to deliver the blow. He got his shoulder injured midway to a match, but he used the other arm to deliver moves, including the bulldog and the elbow. He was about to deliver the go to sleep. He was ready for it. But then here comes Chris Jericho coming out. He attacked Daniel Bryan first to get to CM Punk. He delivered Punk a cold breaker. Daniel Bryan wins the match by disqualification because Daniel Bryan got attacked first. So that showed us Jericho was supporting Punk by attacking Daniel Bryan before we got to Punk. So Daniel Bryan wins, another cheap win for him. But despite that, it was a great, decent matchup between these two, Punk and Bryan. And I like the fact they made them wrestle each other. And I thought it was a very grueling matchup. Hope they wrestle again one of these days, but we'll see what happens. Of course, Jericho, as I mentioned, is in the War Elimination Chamber match. I said it on the attack line. I said it here too. So we'll see what happens with that scenario. But Jericho's sending a message to Punk that he is here and he is going to target on CM Punk in the WWE Championship, heading towards the Elimination Chamber match in the pay-per-view. So nice to see Jericho get involved and attack Punk physically for the first time since he's been back. Now on our next match, which was another one, like I said, made by Lower Lions earlier in the evening to save his ass. Kofi Kingston taking on The Miz with R-Truth at ringside. Of course, all 3 of these guys were all in the Elimination Chamber match. We saw like all 6 men from the Elimination Chamber match in some capacity tonight. Chris Jericho interfering. Punk wrestling. We saw Wade Barrett wrestle. Dolph Ziggler wrestle. And we are going to see Kofi Kingston and Miz wrestle. And R-Truth commentating. He didn't interfere though. This match, Kofi and Miz, was okay matchup. You know, especially going after Punk and Daniel Bryan was a tough task to do. Tough to follow. Great physical, grueling matchup like Punk and Bryan was. Very good matchup there. But Miz and Kofi was pretty decent as well. Pretty much Miz was taking on control. But then Kofi nailed the kick. The Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere. With the 1-2-3 victory for Kofi. Coming off his impressive, decent performance at the Royal Rumble. Especially a handstand move. I like that. Kind of a John Morrison type move to save his ass from getting eliminated without touching his feet. So there, the Kofi Kingston wins. And he's focused on singles competition since Evan Bourne suspended again and may be fired. So Kofi gets a victory over The Miz, while R-Truth was watching at ringside. Now, on with our next match. Now, a certain other show certain other company, made the Knockouts the main event. It was the Diva Knockouts Championship a few weeks ago in December. Gail Kim versus Mickie James. And that main event matchup was pretty decent. Tonight, WWE was like, hey, if TNA can make Knockouts their main event, let's make Divas our main event. For the championship, Eve defending against, taking on Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix defending against Eve. And your main event, a 30-second squash match. This disgraces the Divas division a lot more. And I thought Karma was going to interfere because if you didn't see my Royal Rumble review, Karma came back. She was in the Rumble. And Impact busted Dolph Ziggler and eliminated Michael Cole. So I thought Karma was going to get involved. But Eve came in like a house of fire, feeding up her emotions after what happened to Zack Ryder, yada, yada, yada. And she basically comes in like a house of fire, but then Beth comes in with a clothesline and gives her a clam slam. Like I said, what was it? 30-second squash main event. Are you serious, bro? To quote Eve's boyfriend, are you serious, bro? A 30-second Divas main event? Do I have to say more? Psst. So there you go. Beth Phoenix retains. Eve was still laying in the ring. Psst. Kane's music hit. And Kane was in the ring. Not in the ring yet. He was on the screen, actually, saying, Eve, you see what happened to Zack Ryder. It's all because Cena won't embrace the hate, because he's been trying to have Cena embrace the hate. That's what we all want Cena to do. We all want Cena to embrace the hate. We all want Cena to turn heel and literally take on The Rock. But then after that little segment on screen, Kane came out and was going to attack Eve. But here comes Super Cena. And really, he was really super tonight. He really took it to Kane tonight. Basically, the first major beatdown by John Cena to Kane. Beating him with the steel steps a few times. Beating him outside the ring like Kane's been doing to him for the last couple weeks. And then trying to FU him on the commentator's table. But Kane got out of it and escaped just in time before the FU by John Cena. Like I've mentioned on this show before in my videos, I would never call the FU the attitude adjustment ever. I'm not calling the FU an attitude adjustment because attitude adjustment was a pile driver named for Lex Luger. And Lex Luger did a pile driver. It's called the attitude adjustment. So I'm using that to call John Cena's move. Only because of TVPG, FU, yada, yada, yada. So John Cena may have been losing the war, but he won a big battle against Kane tonight, taking it to Kane tonight, showing his anger tonight on Kane. Before I mention the last segment, which I predicted was John Laurinaitis and Triple H, as I mentioned in the attack line today, Mike Tyson was officially announced today as a new member of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2012. He'll be inducted with Edge and the Four Horsemen. Now on to our last segment, which of course the segment everyone was waiting for. Triple H was going to come out and evaluate John Laurinaitis about whether or not Laurinaitis was going to stay or was he going to go. And Triple H was like, Laurinaitis, everyone who's had your job has had personal differences uphold their judgment. Like Triple H's personal problems with Kevin Nash and CM Punk. Vince's personal problems with people, especially Bret Hart last year. And Laurinaitis' personal issues, especially getting involved with Punk in his matches, especially last night, as a special guest referee. And John Laurinaitis said, I'll do anything to save my job. So Triple H was like, apologize. The crowd booed his ass. Laurinaitis is getting as much heat as Michael Cole and Vicky Guerrero combined. So then Triple H was like, how about you be in a gauntlet match with anybody who wants to beat the crap out of you? But then Triple H was like, anything? Ooh. Oh, I got it. How about you join a certain club? And I was like, no way. This is TVPG, Triple H. But it was kind of funny that Laurinaitis really thought he was going to kiss Triple H's ass. He got the lip balm. He put lip balm on. That was funny. He was on your knees, on your knees. And he was on his knees. And Triple H was like, what the hell are you doing? You're not going to kiss my ass. So then Triple H was like, listen, Laurinaitis, it's time for me to do what I got to do. John Laurinaitis, you have been gonged. Gong! Here comes the Undertaker! Triple H was saying, oh, I've settled on my personal problems. Well, a personal problem came back to haunt him. as Undertaker came down to the ring with the ominous long entrance as usual. Came in the ring, Triple H. Basically, they did like almost like the exactly like scene by scene of the same promo that they did with Taker last return. What was it? 2/21/11. He came out looking Triple H and eyed the WrestleMania sign and said nothing to him. So that's what Undertaker was doing in the ring. But Taker's one of those guys who doesn't need to speak. The actions speak louder than words, especially with Undertaker being so ominous and spooky. Despite him getting old, I thought it looked a little bad tonight, but it looked decent. But I guess he was eyeing Triple H and eyeing the WrestleMania logo. There's been a lot of rumors about Triple H Undertaker 3. Yes, I said it, 3. Like I said on videos before, they did not mention the fact that Undertaker did wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania 17 before their match at WrestleMania 27. So basically they're trying to tease Triple H Undertaker 3. But Triple H didn't say anything. Instead, while Taker was eyeing and Triple H trying to walk away from it, he was like, he patted Undertaker on the back trying to say, there's no problems there anymore. I want to take care of business. I want to be the business guy. I'm not the wrestler anymore. I want to be businessman, basically. I want to take care of business, not wrestle much. So Triple H walked to the back like nothing at all after he patted Undertaker on the back. And Undertaker stood in the ring as we ended War. Now, I mentioned, like I said, when Jericho came out for his comeback, he didn't say anything. I bitched him out for it. I think everyone did. But you know what? Undertaker's one of those guys that you don't need to talk. He's just ominous. You know, his promos are just, he shows you what he wants. You know, he wants Triple H again at WrestleMania. And we're probably going to see a lot more teasing of it in the next couple weeks to come. Who knows? Maybe it'll all be settled by Elimination Chamber when Triple H is going to wrestle Taker or not. This would be Taker's 20th match. Who knows? But so there you go. Undertaker returns and possibly teasing a match with Triple H at WrestleMania 28. Overall, like I said, Rumble after Rumble 1 was very good. There was some good wrestling tonight. Building some storylines with Kane Cena, especially Cena getting an upper hand on Kane for once. But I bet you Kane will beat the shit out of Cena again next week. And since they're both not in a chamber match, they're probably going to be in a match at the pay-per-view again. I say no DQ this time. And no countouts either. And of course, return of The Undertaker. So there you go. That is it for my Raw review. Comment your thoughts below. What are your thoughts on Undertaker returning? Are you psyched that he's going to face off Triple H again? But here's what the thing is. The only disappointment was they never really solved this Laurinaitis thing. You know, Triple H was just about to say, you're fired to him, and then Taker came out. So maybe we'll settle the whole Laurinaitis thing next week, since the Laurinaitis thing was just about to be settled until it was interrupted by The Undertaker. Like I said, that is it. See you all later. That's my Raw review. See you all later. Oh yeah.